I would like to begin by asking about the jazz music aspect of your visual storytelling, because I focused a lot on the way that you zoom in on things and then you zoom out on things. And I'm just curious about the flow between images, if you have cracked some kind of mathematical equation that works for you when developing that rhythm, or is it a little more organic than that?
I wish I had cracked like the formula, but it's way more organic indeed. It's really about trying to never go where I would go usually.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to kind of, because of the audience bringing so many preconceived or expectation or knowledge about the genre.
Right.
You know, when you go see a scary movie, you have seen so many of them before, or even if you didn't, like you have an expectation, like you know how the grammar, the visual grammar is working. So what I'm trying to do always is to try to step away from the track and follow a different path that sometimes cross the regular path and sometimes goes way away, but try to vert all the code in a way. And the script, when I read Never Let Go, it had that quality of being already kind of off track, having this journey that's not exactly what you expect, that brings you into a place that's not the place that you kind of like where, it was supposed to be a post-apocalyptic movie. It was supposed to be just a survival. It was supposed to be just like some kind of fighting the evil in the wood type of movie. But then it becomes something, quite different.
Right, yeah. Another kind of math-related question is the balance of ambiguity in your work here, because there's moments throughout this where, without getting into spoilers, where you think, it could be this, and then something will happen later, and it could be that too. And there's that constant like tug of war, this questioning of reality from beginning to end, really. And so I'm curious about developing that balance as a storyteller, and if this process at all caused you to kind of question your reality.
I mean, it was what really got me into this project was exactly that, was the fact that in the same way than Gothic literature, like the Edgar Allan Poe short stories, some of the short story can have both explanation, to be a realistic explanation and a supernatural one, and not one prevail on the other, and both are just possible and up to the belief of the viewer. And I wanted to preserve that within Never Let Go. I wanted to be sure that the audience will, if you believe, then it's real. If you don't, then you will start questioning. A little bit like those two kids that living with their mom at the end of the world. One is questioning, the other one believe everything she's saying. So I wanted to keep all those layer, and it was a very challenging process because I didn't want to give too much keys to the audience. I wanted the movie itself, the experience of the movie, to be something very proactive, where you have to connect the dots, take clues from different places and put them together. But going back, it's when I start a movie, I usually go into a few references, like movie that kind of like, for a reason or another, this one remind me. And for Never Let Go, I was thinking about this Japanese movie, Onibaba. It's like a 60s black and white, beautiful, dark fairy tale, which has exactly that type of explanation. Could be, she could be just crazy and the mask doesn't have power. Or it could be supernatural and the mask is actually possessing her.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about in terms of the process of the characters? Because that's one of the most interesting aspects of the film to me, is just kind of understanding the routine, like the whistle on the wall and then everything with the rope. Are you someone who can untether themselves from I don't know, the so-called traditionalism of Hollywood when it comes to like, there's a certain way to shape your stories? Are you somebody who just kind of untethers themselves and runs with your gut?
I wish I could run with. I mean, I want to. That's my instinct, to run with my gut, and that's usually the fight up to the end to maintain that. When it comes to the daily life of those people in the wood, we had so much more. I mean, the when you look at the Blu-ray and all the extra material later on, there is way more scenes to explain how they actually, make their own candles, or they deal with everything there, because they have a very, very limited amount of. But I wanted that to be real. I wanted to feel that we are with them and that we understand their way of living. But the Hollywood way of storytelling is usually taking you to a much more efficient path that needs to go fast.
Right.
But those people are living the end of the world. They are like the only one left alive as the story begins. And they have a rhythm in their way of living that you need to bring the audience in that rhythm. And that's supposed to go a little bit different from the very efficient way of storytelling. You need to create like a little like, okay, I'm with them. I understand the anger. I understand the lack of resources. I understand the questioning. I understand the long silence. I understand the manipulation of the rope. And somehow we needed to be more free to express that.
Right. I know we're just about to run out of time, and so you spoke of limitations. How does, like for instance, like the horror elements of it, like they're quick flashes, and there's certain stories where like the flashes, like the briefness of it makes it cooler, and then there are moments where you're just kind of in it and it hangs around and it has a haunting feeling. So I'm curious about working both of those ways, and if you have a preference on that.
It's all about crafting the best immersive experience, and so you need to follow your instinct and put yourself as a movie goer before being a filmmaker, and try to project yourself as an audience member to see how you will react. And sometimes it's like a very brief flash that tells something very strong. Sometimes it is a moment that drags, and you have to be in the nightmare of that moment, and you really have to stay there, and you have to extend and extend and extend, but because that create the feeling of unexpected storytelling. You don't know exactly how it's going to happen, because nothing is really following one way or the other. Recently, when I watched Longlegs, I think one of the best things of Longlegs is exactly the way Oz deal with the quick, the not, the off-screen, the reveal. I mean, it was brilliant because of that. And it creates like a fear of the non-showing, but in the same time, when it needs to show, it shows. So it's that balance that only goes with I think the instinct of the filmmaker.
Yeah. Is it at all frustrating when you have like those flashes, like there's a dream sequence of a character and it's very animalistic, but I imagine for you that's the candy, like that's what you want to hang around. So is it really just like a lot of time goes into making that moment effective, and it's just like, all right, we're done? Or is there more to it than that?
There is a little bit more to it, and sometimes in the editing room you have to kill your darlings, as they say,
Sure.
and make them, because you feel that it's going to be more efficient than just being in that moment, and then it's going to create, it's going to subvert your expectations. So it's always like a battle between the final writing in the editing about how you're going to show it. But of course we have much more,
Right.
always.
Yeah. Well, thank you.